I'm referring specifically to the northern tribes. When the northern tribes was exiled, if you go today to a subclan of the Igbo people who claim their migration origins comes from Israel, they will tell you they come from Gad, right? The third son, which is Enri. They'll tell you that's where they come from. We'll also hear about Danites, Asherites, and those from Naphtali that are there in West Africa. Why is this important? Because these individuals never saw a second temple being built. So that means that any part of the worship system, the spiritual system, the codification, the political entity that was created for the Israelites during that time period, these individuals would not have known. So they would not have known about Second Temple worship. They would have not known about the various sects that came about during the Grecian captivity. They would have not have known about the Tanaic period where we had the Talmud and the Mishnah. They would have not known none of these things, right? And they would have been almost a time capsule. So we want to see the full preservation of our people who would look in West Africa to see what their ancient practices are, what their migrational origins, and what customs and traditions was passed on over the periods of time. This is showing how indigenous the Hebrew Israelite spiritual system was in regards to their closest relatives, which would be that of Africa. And this is what we want to get you guys to think about. We're talking about a system, a spiritual system that was preserved when we study the West African Hebrew Israelites and the indigenous traditional cultures that are there as well that are non-Israelites. We are all one family. And when we study the spiritual system, you'll see why the integration was seamless, because they didn't have all of this extra that was there that came about during the Second Temple period. I want you guys to go back and research and understand that.
What's going to clean young men up? This is what God said.
Psalms 119 verse 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
That's the solution for young men. Read it again.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
That's the solution. That is the solution. Give me Romans 12 and 10. How can these young men take heed according to God's word? Romans 12 and 10, please.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. Be kindly affectioned one to another with brotherly love.
Are we our brother's keeper? Are we our brother's keeper? All right. Let's find out.
Genesis chapter 4 verse 9.
This is what Cain said. Cain was the embodiment of the so-called white man today. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother?
Where is Abel your brother? Go ahead.
And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
Am I my brother's keeper? This is what Cain said. Because the spirit within was that of the devil. Evil, deceitful. He lied and said, I don't know where my brother. He just killed his brother. Then he says, am I my brother's keeper? Hell yes, you are.
Israel is a community. All right. The reason why I wanted to bring this out, because I see that there's a lot of misunderstanding within inside of the nation of Israel. We're not understanding that this is a community thing. And for us to understand that this is about a nation, this is about a community. The sin of one is the sin of all. That's how serious this thing is. And I'm going to say it again. We are responsible for one another. The sin of one is the sin of all.
Read 21.
Verse 21. And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also.
That's a commandment. That's a commandment. That's a commandment. That is a commandment.
Numbers 25. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel. And the Lord said unto Moses, Take all the heads of the people, and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, Slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation, and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent, and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel, and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, hath turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, Behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head over a people, and of a chief house in Midian. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Vex the Midianites, and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague, for Peor's sake.
All right, here. So read that again, Bobby Shaw.
Verse 39.
Yeah.
And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves.
So that another land that they went to was Assyria from Jerusalem, okay? So verse 41, go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country,
Right.
where never mankind dwelt,
So that's the passage you see right there. Go ahead.
that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
Yeah, that's the passageway they took with the red arrows, brothers. Go ahead.
And the same region is called Ashereth.
It was theorized early on that Native Americans must have entered the New World across the narrow strip of water known today as the Bering Strait. This would mean that instead of Israelites traveling more than 8,500 miles of ocean, Asians would have only had to cross a little more than 50 miles to reach the Americas.
Put your family on a boat and I will lead you out of here. And God did lead them. He led them to America. I said, America? from Jerusalem to America by boat in 600 BC? And they said, yes.
Joseph Smith wrote that the Book of Mormon told the story of these former inhabitants who were principally Israelites, and that the remnant are the Indians that now inhabit this country.
Where did the American Indian come from? Well, because DNA fingerprinting came about, that can be addressed. I've worked with DNA a long time. I understand the science. I deal with it every day. I've also been a member of the LDS Church for about 25 years.
Any Mormon that takes an honest look at the genetic evidence is going to struggle with it.
Because I can see that I'm also Chinese. That doesn't show up anywhere because, once again, that's that same DNA marker that became Native American that just gets absorbed into the R1B1.
Hi everyone, my name is Paola, and I wanted to just basically talk about a lot of issues that I'm facing this day and age, I guess. So I've been studying Native American history for the past couple of years, and I've always been interested in our ancient civilizations, the Mayas, the Incas, the Cahokia, all the civilizations that have existed in this continent. And growing up as a mestizo, which is a term that I actually do not like, but I think we all understand that. We don't have this connection to a tribe or any such things like, indigenous languages or anything like that.
In 1519, Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortés overthrew the Aztec Empire in Mexico and set up a Spanish colony. At his side was a Native American woman named La Malinche, who served as his translator. Although she was given to Cortés as a slave, La Malinche played an influential role in helping him conquer this massive Aztecan empire with only a small army. The relationship between Cortés and La Malinche grew romantic, eventually producing a son, Martin. This baby Martin became one of the first examples of a mestizo, a racial category used in Latin America to describe those with both Native American and European Spanish ancestry. The word roughly translates from Spanish to English as mixture. When the Spanish began to colonize Latin America, they created a social class system for regulating their newly conquered territories. They used a racial system to rank people in the New World. At the top of the social pyramid were white peninsulares, or Spaniards born in Spain, followed by white criollos, or the children of Spanish born in the New World. The mestizo population were the next highest social class. These were the children of Spanish and Native Americans. Very quickly, the mestizo population became the numerical majority.
About 10% of Mexico's population is white, recent immigrants from Europe or descendants of colonizers. Another social group are called mestizos in Mexico. They're the mainstream, the ones most people in the U.S. will call Mexican.
To confront that issue because I was never asked about my race. So now that I've been here, it's been an issue. When I initially had this question about what is your race, are you white, are you Asian, are you African, are you Native American, and I couldn't really find myself in there because I am clearly not African, I am clearly not Asian, and I am clearly not white, but I couldn't connect to Native American.
These were the holding cells for our Hebrew relatives who have been scattered to the four corners of the world. We will find them in the Americas, the Caribbean, Europe, Asia, explains that term. You see, the Egyptians, Babylonians, the Persians, they rose, filled the planet with sound and splendor, then faded and passed away. The Greeks and the Romans followed and made a vast noise, and they are gone. Other people have sprung up and held their torches high for a time, but it burnt out and they sit in twilight or have vanished. The Hebrews saw them all, beat them all, and is now what we are always. Exhibiting no decadence, no infirmities of age, no weakening of his parts, no slowing of his energies, no dulling of his alert and aggressive mind. All other forces passed, but we still remain. We are the ancient Eves, the ancient Hebrews. Tra, Omanye.